Most men plan for retirement like this: work hard until somewhere in your mid-60s. Stack as much into the 401k as you can. Then finally relax. But here's the uncomfortable math in the US. Men on average live several years less than women. And that's just lifespan. Your healthy years, when you're back, your heart and your energy still cooperate, are even fewer. So a lot of men are doing the same thing, trading the strongest 30, 40 years of their life for a block of time in their late 60s and 70s that they may not live long enough or feel good enough to really use. You feel it when you're 40, exhausted and thinking, I can't do this pace for 25 more years. You stare at your retirement account and wonder if you're actually saving too much for a future you might not see. You see an older man finally retire, and then his health falls off a cliff within a few years. The problem isn't that men are bad with money. The problem is that the standard retirement script was written for an average person who may not look like you at all. The question in this video is simply, if you're a man in America today, how do you design a retirement plan that matches your reality, your health, your work, your relationships, instead of blindly following a one-size-fits-all formula? Here's what we'll walk through: how the traditional retirement model actually works, why that model can quietly shortchange men, in particular a different approach, work optional, years earlier in life, instead of one big stop at 65, a concrete example with real numbers, the biggest risks and blind spots men run into, and finally, a practical checklist you can use to stress test your own plan. This is not a don't save, live for today rant. And it's not woman bad, system evil. It's a calm, numbers-driven look at this. Are you overpaying for a version of retirement that doesn't fit you? And if so, what could you do instead? Let's start with the basic retirement machine most people are plugged into. Step 1, you work 40-45 years. Step 2, you save 10 to 15% of your income into tax-advantaged accounts. Step 3, those investments compound over decades. Step 4, around 65-67, you stop working. Step, you withdraw a slice of your portfolio each year to live on. Financial planners often use a simple rule of thumb called a safe withdrawal rate. Commonly, it's around 4% per year. That's meant to give your money a good chance of lasting 25-30 years. Here's the hidden assumption: that you need your money to last deep into your 80s or 90s. For some people, especially women who tend to live longer, that makes sense. But for many men, the story is different. On average, US men die earlier than women. Men are more likely to work in physically demanding or risky jobs. Chronic issues like heart disease often hit men earlier. So two things happen: you may be saving for more years than you personally will use. The system treats you like you'll have a 30-year retirement, even if your realistic window is 15-20. It backloads your freedom. You give up time, energy, and experience in your 30s, 40s, and 50s to buy extra safety in your late 70s. A different way to see it: instead of work full speed, stop completely. Think in phases. Phase 1, heavy earning, heavy saving, 20s, 40s, or 20s, 50s. Phase 20A, work optional years, maybe part-time or lower stress, 50s, 60s. Phase 3, true retirement, when your body or interests demand it. The math of compounding means this: if you start early and front-load your savings, you often can afford to step off the gas sooner, without running out of money in old age. But you'll only see that if you run the numbers for your expected life, not an abstract average. Let's meet a fictional guy. We'll call him Daniel. Daniel is 38. He's a maintenance supervisor at a large warehouse. He's on his feet most of the day, climbing ladders, lifting, dealing with night calls. He makes about $85,000 a year. He's married, 2 kids. His wife works part-time. Daniel has done a lot right. He contributes 10% to his 401s. His company matches 4%. He has about $120,000 invested so far. His current plan: work until at least 67, then stop completely. But a few things are bothering him. His dad had a heart attack at 63. His grandfather died in his early 70s. A buddy from work, same age, just got put on blood pressure meds. Daniel starts to question, do I really want to bet everything on enjoying life at 70? What if I'm worn out by then? He doesn't want to throw away his retirement plan. He just wants something more flexible. So he outlines 2 possible futures: path A, traditional plan, full-time, high-stress work until 67, keep ramping up savings to maybe 15%, aim for a large nest egg, then fully retire. Path B, work optional at 55, save aggressively into his 40s, is in target financial flexibility by 55. At 55, shift to lighter work. Maybe facilities consulting, teaching trades at a community college, or part-time maintenance in Path B. He still works past 55. But he has options. More time with his kids, who will be in their late teens, the early 20s, less physical wear on his body, space to focus on his health. Here's what surprises him when he sketches it out. Because he started saving in his 20s, the money already in his accounts does a huge amount of the heavy lifting from age 55 onward. Even if his new, lighter job pays less, and he saves little or nothing in those years. The same dollars that were meant to buy luxury at 75 can instead buy freedom at 55 if he's willing to plan around a realistic retirement length, not a theoretical maximum. Let's put numbers to Daniel's two paths. We'll keep the math simple and rounded. Assumptions: age now 38, current investments, 120,000 salary, an 80,000 total retirement contribution, 14% to 10% from him, 4% match annual contribution, about now then $100 will round to $12,000 for simplicity, investment growth, 7% per year before inflation. We'll ignore taxes and raises to keep it clean. Path A, traditional, all the way to 67. Daniel saves from 38 to 67. That's 29 years. Future value of his 120 of 1,000 Taiwan tells in 29 1.07, 29 is about 7.6. So that's rough 10,000 future value of his new contributions. A 12,000 per year for 29 years at 7% using the standard series formula. That's about 24 1.3 million. Add them up. About 91 of Zal's 130,000 of 2.04 million at 67 using a simple 4% withdrawal, but A1, 600 per year before tax. That's a solid traditional retirement. On paper, Path B, work optional at 55. Now let's say Daniel's goal is different. He wants serious flexibility by 55. He keeps the same savings rate from 38 to 55. That's 17 years. If it fails, 100,000, 1,000, under 20,000, 100,000, 1.0717 is about 0.2. So that's around 384,000. Future value of new contributions for 17 years. 1,000 per year, 17 years. Roughly 12,000 on 30, 44, 48. So total at 53 entered in $1,000 center 922,000 at 55. Daniel changes gears. He moves to a lower stress job paying, say, the $55 in a year. He stops contributing meaningfully to retirement. His new job barely covers bills by design, but he doesn't tap his investments yet. Let that 792,000 just sit and grow from 55 to 67. That's 12 more years of compounding at 7% to 7,001 and 12.7 or 2012 is about 225, so roughly 1.78 million at 67. Now look carefully at this path A leg. Full throttle work to 67, big savings, got about 204 M, path B heavy saving only to fee5, then con coasting got about 1.7 AM. He gives up some final balance, about 260,000 less. But in exchange, he buys 12 years of lower stress, 12 years less wear on his body, 12 years of more flexible time during what are likely some of his best remaining health years. And even in Path B, a 4% withdrawal rate on 1.7 AM is 4% later $71,000 a year and not dramatically different from 100 in Path A, especially once Social Security is factored in. This is the key point, because the last decade of compounding does so much of the work. You can sometimes ease off the gas earlier and still land in a similar place at 67. You pay for it with a slightly smaller number on a statement. You gain it back in actual years of usable life. This all sounds neat on a whiteboard. Real life is messier. Let's hit the big risks and blind spots. 1. Healthcare costs. Medical expenses can be huge, especially before Medicare starts. If you step back or go part-time in your 50s, you need a plan for health insurance premiums, out-of-pocket costs, potential long-term conditions. Ignoring this is one of the fastest ways a work optional plan can blow up. 2. Overconfidence in future work. It's easy to say, I'll just consult or do light work later. The risk: the market may not want what you offer, or your body may not cooperate. Correction: treat future part-time income as a nice bonus, not a guarantee. Run your plan assuming no extra income, then see how any work improves the picture. 3. Underestimating your partner's needs. If you're in a relationship and your partner may outlive you, your plan has to consider their likely lifespan too. Men sometimes focus only on my number. But if your spouse or partner is younger or has a family history of long life, your savings might need to support two very different retirements. 4. Investment risk. To make these numbers work, we assumed a 7% return. Markets don't move in straight lines. A bad decade early in retirement can hurt a lot. Correction: diversification, a mix of assets, and keeping some cash or bonds for downturns can help smooth out risk. Not perfect, but better than betting everything on one asset class. 5. Lifestyle creep. Even with a good plan, it's easy to let spending rise with income in your 40s and 50s. Bigger house, nicer cars, more everything. That can quietly erase the work hour optional option long before you get there. Correction: keep fixed expenses reasonably low, even as your income rises. Optionality is built as much by what you don't obligate yourself to as by how much you earn. Let's turn this into a simple checklist you can walk through on your own. This is education, not advice. Use it to ask better questions of yourself and any professional you work with. Step 1: estimate a realistic lifespan range. Don't get obsessed with one number. Use a range based on family histories. When did your parents and grandparents die? Your current health, smoking, weight, conditions, your job's desk vs physical, shift work vs regular hours. Online longevity calculators can give rough guidance. Write down a conservative range. For example, 7 to 85. Step 20: define your phases. Not just one retirement date. Think in seasons. Heavy work and saving years, flexible work optional years, mostly or fully retired years. When would you ideally like each phase to start? Write down ages, even if they change later. Step 3: run 2 or 3 scenarios. Use any reasonable retirement calculator or spreadsheet and compare scenario 1. Traditional plan to 65-67, scenario 20 work, optional at 55, scenario 30, maybe a version in between G. Cut hours at 60, use conservative assumptions. Lower investment returns, maybe 5-6% modest social security realistic spending. You're not looking for precision. You're looking for direction. How much difference does it make to change your path? Step 40, front load your savings while you can if you're in your 20s, 30s, or early 40s. These are the years where each dollar has the most time to grow. Prioritize tax advantage accounts, 401k, IRA, HSA if available. Increase your savings rate a little each year. Especially after raises, the more you build early, the more flexibility you buy later. Step 5, invest in the health portfolio. For men especially, this might be the highest return investment over 30 years. Regular checkups, strength training, managing stress and sleep, avoiding addictive coping, alcohol, substances. Every extra healthy year buys you more time to use the money you saved. Step 6, build skills you can use in a lighter phase. Ask yourself, if I wanted to earn 30 to 40 $100 a year in my 50s doing something lighter, what could that be? Maybe teaching what you know, remote consulting, a small business you grow slowly on the side, experiment before you need it. So it's there if you want it. Here's the core idea. Traditional retirement says grind hard now, fully stop later, hope you're healthy enough to enjoy it. For many men, that script doesn't fit. You may not get a 30-year retirement. Your body may not love another 25 years of maximum stress. Your real wealth is time's health. False people, not just the account balance. A better question than how do I retire at 65 is how to use money to buy back good years earlier without running out of money later. That usually means saving seriously in your early and mid-career, being honest about your likely lifespan and health, designing work in phases, not an on-off switch. I'm curious, what age do you actually want to be work optional? And what would you do with that extra time? Drop your answer in the comments. It helps other guys see different paths. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is all about calm, no hype money decisions that actually line up with your life.